complete the line. $1.90, hardly ever. All set. Third for the 3-year-old. And gates open, and they're off and racing. And beginning well, featherweight. Magnificent Andy moving up to join in, and hardly ever right behind the leading two early on. Success Play over on the inside, and then comes Tiff's Lad, followed by Mosquito. In the centre, My Dilemma, and out wider is Pray Again. So on settling down, it's featherweight leading. Hardly ever coming through in the centre, and Magnificent Andy out 3 wide. A length and a half, Success Play. Between horses is Tiff's Lad, and on the outside, Pray Again, and a length and a half, My Dilemma is keeping company with Mosquito at the end of the field. It's featherweight out in front, comes to the 600, leading narrowly, hardly ever the outside. 3/4 off out deeper, Magnificent Andy. A length away, Success Play back on the fence from Tiff's Lad, Pray Again around them. My Dilemma is second last, Mosquito is last, but only about 2.5 from the lead with 400 to go. Featherweight joined by the filly, Hardly Ever, and Magnificent Andy, and Pray Again is the widest coming to the turn. Featherweight narrowly in front into the straight from Hardly Ever, Magnificent Andy, Pray Again, and My Dilemma starting to come through. Featherweight and Hardly Ever still in front, holding Magnificent Andy. My Dilemma, Pray Again can't go on. Mosquito from the back of the field. Favourite hits the lead, Hardly Ever, and Hardly Ever comes on to beat Mosquito, I think, from featherweight and Magnificent Andy. Then came My Dilemma, followed next over the line by Tiff's Lad with Success Play, and Pray Again had tied back to the end of the field. So another favourite salutes Hardly Ever, and on the tote about $1.70, and 104 Mosquito coming from the back, and featherweight just claimed after leading. Numbers 7 Hardly Ever, beating 6 Mosquito, 1 featherweight, and 5 Magnificent Andy. 7, 6, 1 and 5. 5th My Dilemma, and 6th Tiff's Lad. 1:11.45 the race time, 1:11.45. And the filly Hardly Ever went on to win by a length and a half with the long head, second to third, 1.5 by a long head, and 1:11.45. Hardly Ever coming through upside featherweight and then taking the lead into the straight. The last 600, 34.53. 34.53 the sectional. Hardly Ever, Pat Carberry for Simon Miller. And the filly is by Nakoni out of She Makes My Day, and is raced by R. Meadowcroft, M&P Chadwick Proprietary Limited Syndicate, and has now won 2 from her 5 career starts. Coming on by a length and a half today from Mosquito. From the back, Jordan Turner for Sean and Jake Casey. And the gelding is by Air Force Blue out of Playful Rosie, raced by H. Daly. And 3rd to 1 featherweight after leading Sean O'Donnell for trainer Dan Morton. And is by Snibbertson out of Prime Knockout. And 4th past the post was number 5, Magnificent Andy, Lucy Warwick for Stephen Miller. So 1:11.45 the time, and a 1.5 length win to the favourite in the third, Hardly Ever, the filly. I'll take you down to the mounting yard now. Here's Britt Taylor.
Thanks very much, Matt. Simon Miller coming into the yard now to have a chat about the performance of Hardly Ever. Firstly, Simon, before we get on to this filly's performance today, who came up with this name out of a mare called She Makes My Day and come up with the name Hardly Ever?
Yeah, I know. There was a few other names that we were going to put forward. But
are they names you can say on air?
Yeah, Ali wasn't appreciative of a couple of them, so I wanted to call it Out Wide or My Mistress out of She Makes My Day. But so anyhow.
What's a stable name?
Hardly Ever. We don't really do stable names, to be honest. But it was... You look at her race record, her first start was dominant win, no shade. Second start, we got beat, a lip. And I was disappointed that day because I thought it was a total moral. And then I went and put the shades on in a stakes race and went up in trip, and it was just an absolute debacle. And then first up the other day, admittedly it was 1,000, but it just revved a bit higher, the shades. And so if actually put a line through the 2 starts with the shades and go without, and that second run, Bazoom beat us on the line. Well, I was shattered, but then you go and watch what Bazoom's done, and third horse was Devoted, beating about 3 off us, so might have been a bit harsh, but shades off, extra 200 metres, and she still floats, like she had her ears pricked coming around the turn. I think she's a better chaser, but Paddy was just worried there was no speed. We might end up in a tricky spot, so he drove it out, and we were just going to let the race unfold, but obviously he had free rein to do whatever he wanted to do, and he just put it right there. But I still think she's better when she can wind up and gun them down. She had her ears pricked the whole way.
We saw that today, as you mentioned, perhaps a better chaser. When you're having those discussions with Paddy pre-race, we saw her find a bit more positive tactics today. Is that just something that you know Paddy knows the horse oh so well and just give him free rein to choose what he wants to do in that situation? Were you happy to see where she was in running?
Yeah, I was, only because I deliberately let him do what he wants to do. And like most of my riders always just have them where they're happy and let it unfold. And clearly when it sprung, he made a quick decision and launched it forward. So it was a winning move, no doubt, because I watched where we would have been and we would have been in a bit of trouble. So it was effective. I think she'll get further with the shades off now, which will help. But her work Tuesday was just insane. You don't get beat off that type of work. So it was good to see her take it from the track to the races.
Just picking your way through ratings races at the moment?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's no doubt over the summer carnival she'll play in the big races. She's got an unbelievable engine that just needs to sort of hone in on her skill set race day. But you watch her over the summer carnival and she'll be in the pointy end.
Well, congratulations on today's win. A really nice performance.
Thanks, Brittany.
There is Simon Miller after the win of Hardly Ever. Shades came off, and all important for her, as Simon said, just has that tendency that she can rev that little bit high, but today everything turned out really nicely for Paddy. And gee, when she gets that little bit of extra maturity and race smarts about her and can settle nicely in a race, she's frightening to think what she's going to be able to do, Scott, because as Simon said, thinks that she may well be that better chaser. And well, when we get to see that, it will be oh so impressive. Paddy Carberry knows her well, though, given the licence to do just as he wanted to, and he's catching up with Scott.
Well, he can come as close as he wants now. That's the rules. I don't know if it mean he'll come any closer, but Paddy, today, for me, the winning move looked to be just holding the breeze and keeping that horse out. What was going through your mind as opposed to taking the sit?
We weren't going hard at all, and I was happy where I was, even though I was sort of sitting right on top of the leader. We were going quite steady. My horse was in a good rhythm. I had control of things, and that's what I wanted, and it worked out good.
Simon seems to think that with the shades coming off, she might get a little bit further now as well.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, that's the feel that she gave me. Walked the track earlier. She's not that great on rain affected. To walk the track earlier, and I was happy with where it is for her. And probably the track's just more tired more than how it is. It was rated a soft 5, but just basically I think because it's a tired track.
If you're looking over your right shoulder here, Simon Miller's having the time of his life. What would you describe this characteristic? Would it be coltish?
His characteristics? Definitely, I guess it's because he's tall and I'm small. He gets all the Sheilas, I don't know, but yeah, he just dominates.
Best of luck with Cup night tomorrow as well. Well done, Paddy.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
There is Paddy Carberry discussing Simon Miller there, and it is Hardly Ever who takes out race number 3.
You think it's easy? You think I don't want to run to you?